Hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the stream. There we go. You guys were not fully centered. Now we're a little better. How is everybody doing today? I'm so sorry that I canceled last week. I thought really hard, and I was fully intending on having last week's stream, but I just wasn't feeling super, super great. Was not myself. My voice sounded a whole lot different also. So I thought, talking live on air, I could do all the sprints and everything, but to hold a whole conversation, probably not smart. So I took the time off. I actually ended up taking a bit more time off. I took a sick day and got allergy meds, feeling a lot better and back today. So, how are all of you doing? Phoebe's Vlogs is here. Hello. Welcome back. Should be a good night. Earlier today, because I have had a hard time writing, been trying to write book 3, as a lot of you know, the third and final book in the Guardians of the Sixth Gate series, which is my fantasy romance, young adult fantasy romance. I've had a hard time writing book 3 this last week, and I kind of hit a part in the book where I thought that I had written myself into a corner in the previous books, which doesn't work well because those books are up for publication. The first one's out, and Shade of the Shadowlands book 2 is out on pre-order right now. And so to do like a giant rewrite would not have worked well. And so I was a little worried, but today I sat down to do some writing, and I just spent a lot of time thinking about the plot and how to connect point A and B, and I figured it out. So I was able to connect it the way that I wanted to, and it's going to work great. So for tonight, right now, I am at 72,000. Oh gosh, I didn't even know I was that far. 72,020 words. That's where we are starting for tonight. Let me write that down before I forget about it. 72. I just wrote down the wrong number. 72 0 2 0. All right. So this book's gonna be big, guys. It's gonna be a lot longer. My other books are like 60,000 words, maybe. So the fact that this one is at 72 and I still haven't quite hit the center point or like all the action, I haven't gotten to the downhill yet. It's going to be a lot. It's very, very long book. So that is what I will be working on tonight, is continuing to write on book 3, because today's writing session went really well. Clearly, I hit the 72,000 mark. So got a lot to show for that. And yes, crazy. So I'll be writing on book 3. What is everyone else working on tonight? Jen's here. Hello, Jen. All righty, guys. What is everybody working on? I was just telling the stream I'll be working on book 3 still. I am at 72,000 words. Crazy. Holy moly. It's a long book for sure. But I'm excited about it. Things have been going well. Also, I think that getting back into reading has been helping a lot too. I hadn't been reading nearly as much, and I felt like I needed some kind of creative outlet, and writing was not going well. So I have felt a little more drained than normal, and I started reading The Serpent and the Wings of Night, which is a self-published book by Carissa Broadbent. It is wonderful. My friends have been like egging me to read this book for a while now, and it's been on the TBR, and I moved it up because I wanted like a good fantasy book, and this is it. So this book's really good. I ordered the second one today because that just released. Cannot wait for that to come in. And I promptly dropped it on the floor. But I think reading a little bit has also kind of helped my brain relax a little. Maybe that was the problem all along. Maybe it wasn't so much that I needed the creative outlet, that more like I needed a something to relax. So Jen says that she will be carving a bit into A Little Luck, which is book 2, right? In your series. Oh my gosh. Jen's book comes out really soon. Doesn't it come out May 11th, I think? I need to go and pre-order that. Speaking of, Phoebes is working on a script writing project. Super fun. I've always thought that would be a fun medium to play with, script writing. Yes. So Little Luck is book 2 for Jen. And May 11th is the release date for a second story, which is book 1. Holy moly, that's coming up really soon. I've started to look at my calendar because May is always insanely busy for me because in at least in the public school where I work, May is graduation season and it's always a oh my gosh, every week there's some kind of new event. So, have all of that going on. Plus, Shade of the Shadowlands releases May 30th. That is after our school year kind of wraps up. We'll have kids out by that point, so that won't be so stressful. But man, May is always like a sprint to me. So, holy moly. It sounds like we all have some pretty good writing projects going. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and move that to the first sprint so I don't forget about it. Don't forget to subscribe. I've actually had an uptick in subscribers recently. So if you're one of those new subscribers and you're watching this back later after this live stream, maybe, thank you so much. Just kind of out of the blue, I've had a couple YouTube shorts do really well, and that seems to have grabbed some people, some new subscribers. So thank you to those of you who are from YouTube shorts or maybe from my other content. I also had a TikTok do really well. And I think that maybe some people have moved over to YouTube from my TikTok account. So interesting. Very fun. But either way, happy to have you guys here. And if you're not subscribed, you should definitely subscribe. I try to post 3 different videos a week. There's always a weekly vlog. That vlog was up at 1 today. The weekly writing vlog, that was fun. I talk a bit more about kind of like the block I've had with writing this week, and maybe we'll talk a little about that a little more after the first sprint. But I always try to do a fun video on Wednesdays. I missed this Wednesday because I was sick and everything, so that video will be coming, but that might be this week's video on Wednesday. And then, of course, there's always these live streams. So lots of different things that happen on YouTube to keep me busy and keep me connected to all of you, because that is the fun part of this to me. So we are approaching about 11 minutes or so live. So I think maybe we'll go ahead and jump into our first sprint. If you are new, which I don't think either of you are new, but if you're watching this back, we always do 20-minute sprints here on my YouTube channel. Just because of my time, I want to do 3. And so we will do 20-minute sprints each, in which we will work for a while and then we'll come back and we'll chat about it. So I like to keep track of my sprints. I don't know if you guys do that, but I always write down the starting point and I like to do the math at the end to see how many words I was able to get. I find that I work really well under pressure and I work really well with challenges, especially if it's a challenge I've set for myself, which is funny, right? That I am more likely to be successful and productive if it's my own goal and not somebody. Well, that makes sense. But I mean that when I challenge myself, I do better than if somebody else challenges me. So I am starting at 72,020 words for this first sprint. So we will see how far I'm able to get. I just started a new chapter in this draft, and it's a big piece of action. It's going to be a turning point in this book, so I'm kind of excited to get right into it, and hopefully, just like earlier today, I'll be able to just crank words out because I definitely need that. So we're going to get our clock up and running, and we'll do our first sprint. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, sprint. Sorry, guys. I needed to finish that sentence before I lost it. Okay. How did everybody do? It looks like we gained a couple new people in that sprint. So, welcome to you guys. What are you working on tonight? I have been writing on book 3 in the Guardians of the Sixth Gate series. And in this first sprint, I wrote 655 words. Pretty good. I was making some good strides too. So let's see. Dreaming Truth author is here. Hello. Working on beta reading. Awesome. Jessica made it. Hi, Jessica. Hello. What are you guys working on tonight? All right. I'm going to turn off the first sprint ticker here. Woo. All right. So I'm into a good scene. I'm doing all of the build up to like the action. They're having conversations. So in a minute it'll be all like fights and stuff. So fun things. I really like to write fight scenes. I just think they're just kind of fun to choreograph and imagine. And I definitely have like marked them out. I don't know about any of you, but there have definitely been a couple moves in those fight scenes I've written where I have to go, how would this exactly work? Is it possible to move in this direction? And that's always kind of fun. I feel crazy walking around the house like mock doing these fight scenes. I've also made my husband stand there and be like an opponent just to see how that would work as well. But they're really fun to write. So I'm excited that I get to spend my night doing that. All right. So things are going super well for me today. I did mention that I'd had kind of a hard time writing this week, and I think it's been a combination of just having a lot on my plate to balance, and that's been a struggle. But also, I have all these different ideas in my head. So, um, in Shade of the Shadowlands, we get introduced to a character called Angel Ramirez. He's awesome, love him, and he is getting his own book. And I've been dying to write it, so much so that this last week it's actually affected my concentration and my productivity on book 3. So I hit pause this week and actually went and wrote the first two scenes, not first two scenes, the first two chapters of his book just to get it out of my brain because I needed to put it somewhere. So I did that. So tonight, when I finish up, I'll actually tally how many words I wrote this week. But all I've tracked are words for book 3. I did not track those. So I've actually written a ton this week, even though it doesn't feel like it's been productive for me. I've written a lot. And then today, I got a new idea. And I also am starting to feel like I need to jot it out. So today's vlog, the title of today's vlog was, Am I writing 2 books at once? And kind of, I'm one of those people that can do 2 different projects at once. I can keep everything straight. It's actually keeps me kind of sharp and keeps everything fresh in my brain to visit other characters. It keeps their voices from falling flat. It probably doesn't make any sense to say that, but it keeps my brain engaged more. So I'm more focused on those little eccentricity, like those things about people. So I can work between 2 projects. So I'm kind of writing 2 books at once. I haven't returned to Angel's book yet because it hasn't been nagging me so intensely. I got all the pieces out that were bothering me. But I might come back to that soon just to keep things moving along because I've found now that I've reviewed all of my word count for the week, I'm actually finding that I've written a ton for both projects. And I think it's because I'm letting my brain, and it's definitely an ADD thing. I'm keeping my brain interested so it doesn't get bored. So maybe I need to write 2 things at once. Maybe that's just the way I go. Jen says I'm battling with Ingram right now. I'm irate. Ingram is kind of a mess. They're not the easiest to work with. There's one little error in my manuscript is costing me, and I'm ready to throw hands with myself mainly. Yeah, Ingram's not they're not super quick to respond, and a lot of the a lot of the platform when you publish, you can't just go in necessarily and like fix and edit. You kind of have to contact customer support sometimes for that. Like when I put my ebooks into Kindle Unlimited and I had to pull them from Ingram, it actually took me a bit to get them pulled. It was like a full week before they disappeared, and the only way I could get them out of distribution was by emailing Ingram Sparks. So it took a little while for that to get through the channel. So they're really not the easiest to work with, but they get your book in a lot of places. Jen said, got no work done on A Little Luck. Well, maybe in Sprint 2. Yes. Oh man, when that inspiration strikes, sometimes you got to go with it. I'm not the type of writer that only writes when I feel inspired. Um, I think that kind of is the difference between when you're like maybe just starting out or you're writing for pleasure or it's like a something to do on the side, it's really fun, versus trying to make it like a full-time endeavor and like a real job. um I have to keep kind of a steady pace, so I try to write as much as possible during the week. And so when I'm starting to feel a lull in the story and I'm having to kind of drag myself to the desk, to write, can make things really difficult. But I have to figure out how to do it because I want to make this like my thing. I want it to be a more full-time thing and get like a steady income from it. So, um like I just said, I'm finding this week that having two projects going at once is actually keeping my brain interested and engaged. So I think I will be utilizing that from now on. I think I might slow down, because fast drafting works really well for me. The whole write a book in a month challenge works well for me. But with some of these bigger projects, like book 3 is turning into be a lot longer of a book, I think I do need to keep my brain interested for a longer period of time. And to do that, I think going between the two projects might be like a key in that. So I'm going to see how that works for me moving forward with this book anyway, because I see my next couple projects also being longer. Maybe not the first of Angel's book so much, but the project I developing the idea today, I think that one will be a longer book. It's not an urban fantasy, it's a true fantasy. So it's going to take a lot more development. Okay. What do we say to going into our second sprint? See where we get. Don't forget to like the stream if you haven't already. I would greatly appreciate that. It helps other people find my channel and find our little community here on Sunday nights. So make sure that you like the video. So I am at 72,675 words. Whew. Man, this is going to be a very big book. I'm nearing the culmination of some big plot points, though. So I'm getting there. I'm just getting there. Okay, I will put our timer up. We've reset it. So we are going to do another 20-minute sprint here. See where we go. And I will see you guys in 20 minutes. 3, 2, 1, sprint. All right. Man, things are really starting to heat up in this draft. I'm going to have a really hard time, I think, settling down to go to sleep tonight. Holy crap. So, how did everybody else do? How did it go? Let's see, where am I? Oh, I broke 73,000 words. So, that's nice. 548 words. Woo! Which actually means that I have already written 1,000 words for the stream. So that's awesome. I think letting myself have the creativity to flip between a couple of those projects definitely helped. So it's been a productive day entirely for me. So not just a productive stream, but I am really happy that I've already hit 1,000 words. All right. Jen said 338 words in. That is great. Whew. Big difference from your first sprint for sure. Sometimes it takes wrapping up something else first before you can, like, properly wrapping something up before you can jump into another. So that's great. Awesome. So have we talked about what everybody is reading? I know at the very, very beginning of the stream, I talked about what I'm reading, but I don't think you guys told me what you were reading. I am reading The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent, which is a self-published book. Came highly recommended, well, on Book Talk for sure, but also from some of my friends. I am loving this book so far. I am about halfway in. Oh man, it is taking so much of my self-control not to just like devour it in one sitting. Like I want to stay up late and just read this thing because it's so good. Love it so much. I like the way she writes. I really like the way she writes. And I'm finding, because this is the kind of book I tend to enjoy reading the most, is these kinds of fantasy books. And they're all written a little similarly to this. Like a lot of them use older style language. They're usually a little bit more lyrical than like contemporary stuff and YA stuff even. And I think that that might be more of my niche than what I'm currently writing, is writing this kind of stuff, which is what that project that came to me today is. It'll be more of this fantasy style. And I'm really excited to get back to this kind of writing because I think I'm a little better at that than some of this more urban stuff I've been writing. Although I am really enjoying that also. But I'm super excited about that. Oh, yeah. Yes, everyone is talking about that book. Trying to find out what to read. I can't seem to settle into anything right now. I'm in a weird reading mood. I also was. So I was having a hard time reading at all before I picked this book up. I did get to Sarah Sutton's new book, Rebelling with the Bad Boy. That was super cute. Loved that one. And so very different from this book. But yeah, I've been reading a lot of YA, which is what I primarily write, but I was feeling like I needed something a little bit more grown up. So this has been a fun difference for me. I'm enjoying it. So that is what I'm reading. Sometimes you just go through periods where finding the right book is difficult, especially if you're going through a string of books that maybe are not your thing. So you're having a hard time getting into them. Sometimes that slows up the momentum a lot. Okay, let's see. Normally on Sundays, Alex, my husband, has game night and he's down the hall. So after I put Finn down, I come in here and do the live stream, and he and the guys play D&D and do all kinds of things down the hall. But they actually ended their game night early tonight, which is not common at all for them. So he went out with a couple of them. They're having like a dinner together since they didn't have their entire campaign tonight. So it's weird. I'm in an empty house and it is strangely quiet. around here. Normally, I don't think you guys can hear it on the stream all the time, but usually I can hear them laughing down the hall. They always have a great time, but it's so strange to sit all by myself in this house and it be so quiet. All right. It is 9:27. I feel like we're moving through this stream really fast tonight. Jen says, who knows? I have a pile around me that I'm trying a chapter from to see if anything grabs my attention. Yes. I have a lot of books on my TBR. I have a whole shelf of them. And some of them I have been there a long time because I just haven't been in the right frame of mind to read them yet. Reading is truly an escape for me. So I don't like to read things that are too close to like the emotions I have at the moment or my real life situation. That's why I read a lot of fantasy and science fiction because it's a little bit harder to relate to the events, at least in those kinds of books. I mean, emotions are totally different. I think that's what makes fantasy and science fiction so um, much fun to pick up and read because the emotions are still relatable. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff on my TBR that I haven't gotten around to that I said I would because the timing's just not right. So, and I don't want to ruin my experience of reading the whole book because I know if I'm not in the mood for a certain type of book, I'm not going to like to read it and I won't give it like the chance it deserves. So, I also have a long list of books to get to. The Serpent and the Wings of Night was actually pretty far down on my TBR, and I moved it all the way to the top because I needed something like this. So, and I ordered book 2 this morning. So, book 2 is coming, and I'm going to read it as soon as I finish book 1. Fun, fun, fun. All right, let me come over here to banners. And I think maybe now is a good time to move on to the third sprint in our live stream tonight. I am moving along so quick through my draft now that I feel like I need to just keep the momentum going and see where that leads us for tonight. So I think we'll just move on into the third sprint. Keep sending your comments and everything about books and whatnot, though. I would be really interested to see what everyone's reading and add to my TBR because I'm hoping that I'll be able to read a lot this next month, especially as school stuff winds down. I still work in the summer. I have to do scheduling things in the summer, but it's a lot more low key. I can actually sit at my desk and listen to audiobooks as I like shuffle papers around and stuff. So usually the summers are really big reading time for me. So send me your thoughts. I would be glad to consider them for my TBR. Okay, so sprint number 3. I am 73,000 words in. Let's pull up the timer. And this will be our last sprint of the night. So hopefully it's productive for all of us. See where we end up for the end of the night. Once we're finished here, I think I will probably try to wind things down for the night because if not, I think I would be up for a very long time. So here is sprint number 3. Ready, set, go. All right. So I'm definitely going to have to continue a little bit longer. I know I said that I was going to like wrap things up at the end of the stream, but I'm at the very end of a chapter and I need to finish up the end of that chapter. So, how did everybody else do for the last sprint of tonight's live stream? Hopefully, it was as good as mine was because mine felt really good. So, I'm going to tally that up. 564 words for me. How many does that make for the night? Math is not my strong suit. So I have written 1,767 words for our live stream. So that's just the live stream. Pretty good. I am very pleased with that. And like I said, I really want to get to the end of this chapter because I'm right there. There's some big moments ahead here. So I want to finish that up, see where they go before I go to bed. I don't have very much because I really am at the end of this chapter. So I'll finish the chapter and then we will finish getting ready for bed. Yeah. So, how are we all doing? Jen said hit about 650 words for the stream in total. Going to keep going for a bit to finish the chapter I'm working on before I call it. Same here. I would love to just extend the stream and maybe do one more sprint, but I do need to wind things down a little bit. I need to put away my lights and all of my equipment. Like I said, I'm also going to stay up and write a little bit, but I need to kind of clean up the room so that Alex can get in here with me so he can also get ready to go to bed and wake up for work. So I'm going to do that. But it was a good sprint. It was also a really good night with all of you guys. I love doing these sprints and talking with you guys, hearing what you're working on and all of your projects. It's super fun to me. But I think that that's pretty much going to be the end of the stream for me. I do feel like we moved through this really quick tonight. Usually we are live for like an hour 40 and we're not quite there, but it's been good. It's been good. I'm also realizing now as I look at everything that I need to update my end screen. I always roll the end credits when we finish here, and I haven't updated them with my new book with Shade of the Shadowlands. So I need to do that. So I will definitely see all of you guys next week. Be on the lookout for another live stream Sunday. Now that we're a little bit closer to being back on schedule. Holy moly, what does that make? We're almost at the end of April, guys. That's just kind of blowing my mind. So that'll be the 30th. So that will be the last, like the end of April. Wow. So I will get that scheduled as soon as we hop off here. And I'll see everybody on Sunday. Yeah. So feel free to reach out to me in the comments on my social media. That's all linked in the description box, as well as my books. You can pre-order Shade of the Shadowlands now. The pre-orders for the paperback and the ebook are both live. Go check that out. That's also in the description box in that link. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.